And we're taking things that are, genetically modified organisms, and we're injecting them in little kids' arms. We just shoot them right into the vein. And we're taking things that are, genetically modified organisms, and we're injecting them in little kids' arms. We just shoot them right into the vein.
We're beginning to see a list of suspects in this unprecedented pandemic, this Wuhan supervirus that has locked down the United States of America and the entire world. Who's responsible? What's going on? We're beginning to see who benefits from this virus, from this outbreak, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, you're looking at other notable suspects right here: Hillary, Fauci, Dr. Birx, Obama, the entire crew. Ladies and gentlemen, we've talked about this virus, what it does, where it comes from, what is activating this virus, these death towers. So it is not the death towers that cause the virus. It is these death towers that make this virus worse, ladies and gentlemen. And 1 + 1 here equals pandemic. We've got a lot of news to cover, lots of reports from people on the ground talking about what's happening next. Listen for yourselves, ladies and gentlemen.
Inslee has decided that starting next week, he's going to be doing mandatory testing. If you guys haven't seen the video that I posted on my page a little while ago of the governor himself, talking about how he's going to be dispatching the National Guard to homes and requiring a mandatory quarantine. And he said, meaning you can't leave your house, even to go to the grocery store. Y'all are stuck.
Stuck, ladies and gentlemen. And that's the plan, is the forever lockdown and door-to-door wellness checks by the National Guard. We're talking about an unprecedented level of tyranny in America, and they rolled out this virus. They let it come in. They knew about it for months, and they told the public nothing, ladies and gentlemen. And it's criminal, to say the least. We've got more reports about this genocide, something that people should be very aware of, but they're censoring everywhere they can.
I am literally telling you that they're murdering these people, and nobody will listen to me. These people aren't dying from COVID. They don't care what is happening to these people. They don't. I'm literally coming here every day and watching them kill them. It's like going in the fucking Twilight Zone. Like, everyone here is okay with this.
If the virus doesn't kill you, the hospital certainly will, ladies and gentlemen. It's total anarchy in terms of law and order. It may appear civil on the television, but the government has been weaponized. It is murdering people. It is rolling out its eugenics programs, and they're laughing at you. The people on television are laughing at you. And just to get an idea of how bad it's become, we're going to focus a little bit on what just happened in Australia. They were protesting the works, the lockdown, the death towers, the vaccines, and they were ambushed by the police state and turned into criminals on the television. Watch how this story unfolded.
Free and bond to receive a mark in their right hand or in.
Cops are at it again. Cops are at it again. Cops are at it again. Fucking assholes. Fucking assholes.
Now, that began as a peaceful protest, believe it or not. And they were just having fun peacefully for a couple hours, it looked like. And then the guy starts reading scripture about you are not free and you're going to be taking the mark of the beast. And here comes literally the Gestapo to shut them down. We've got more video of this, but there's just so much to cover. And of course, the censorship is just Out of this world. That's not the video. The video guy is on vacation. If the video guy, what? The video guy is definitely on vacation.
In the midst of a lockdown, tensions rise. A rebellion in the heart of the city.
What's the charges? What's the charges?
As a woman is led into a police van, an enraged supporter lashes out, punching an officer before being dragged to the ground.
So the media makes it out to be like a bunch of anarchists showed up and started burning down the Capitol, burning down the city, a full-blown rebellion against, the Queen, obviously. And luckily the 5-0 were there to save the poor citizens from themselves. So the scenes that were replayed on television were basically, the cops trying to take down, the last survivors or the last fighter, if you will. But before it got to this stage, it was just peaceful protesting on the steps of the Capitol. And what were they chanting, ladies and gentlemen? Let's listen. Arrest Bill Gates is what they were saying. So as you can see, it was a peaceful protest. They were going everywhere with this protest. It was like a broadcast, ladies and gentlemen. And we have to tip our hats to these nice folks out there in Australia doing the right thing. And all of a sudden they just literally get ambushed. They start arresting women, snatching children, and going after the speakers of this protest. So it was absolutely disgusting. I mean, had this happened in China, people would have been outraged. But it makes it even more disgusting to think that it's happening in English-speaking countries. Aren't we supposed to be like at the front lines of freedom? Aren't we the most free people in the world? Isn't that our motto, our mantra? We're free. How free do you feel right now? Do you feel served and protected by this government? Or
as a police officer, I'm compelled to make this video. I've been in law enforcement for 10 years, and I'm speaking to my peers, other fellow officers, people in any kind of law enforcement position. I've seen officers nationwide enforcing tyrannical orders against the people, and I'm hoping it's the minority of officers, but I'm not sure anymore, because every time I turn on the television, every time I look to the internet, I'm seeing people arrested or cited for going to church, for traveling on the roadways, for going surfing, opening their businesses, going to the park with their families, or doing nails out of their own house, using their own house as a place of business, and having undercover agents go there and arrest them and charge them with what? With a crime?
It's just out of control. Of course, that guy got fired, and his video went viral. And he actually did a follow-up video. You can find all of that on our website, stfnreport.com. For Stranger Than Fiction news, stfnreport.com. But, that went viral, and, that guy got fired for speaking up about what's going on out there. It's gone full-blown tyranny. And, these people are not going to reverse course willingly. And we often say in the broadcast, evil is as evil does. If it's pro-death, if it's pro-tyranny, if it's lies in the open, if it's pride, envy, and the like, it's of the dark side. And that's what these people are. I mean, you've noticed for years that the television is 24/7 product placement for the Luciferian cause. I mean, that's basically all it is these days. And, it's a cult of death. These people are out to get you. You might think that you're voting for someone that is serving your interests, but they're not. They've got a whole different game plan. It's about the full-blown takeover, and you're just, the cows grazing in the pasture, waiting for the slaughterhouse. Moo, cows. Are you ready for what's coming next? They're unrolling or we should say they're rolling out HR 6666 at the state level, regardless if this passes at the federal level. They're going to mandate wellness checks. They're going to come inspect you at your home. They're going to probe you. They're going to quarantine you, and they're going to liquidate people they feel are positive or otherwise suspicious. You know, the full suspension of due process, the full suspension of the American way. The Constitution is gone, ladies and gentlemen. And, you know, they're suspending your rights. They wanted to suspend your 4th of July. We'll have to see what happens. But we recommend that everybody organize a Boogaloo crew and get ready to party. July 4th, 2020. Go visit your state capital or the federal capital and occupy it until the next elections. Because otherwise, they're going to continue to lock you down and spray you with their virus and activate you with their death towers and other things. And all of the evidence is starting to point towards Fauci, Redfield, Bloomberg, Bezos, Bill Gates, just to name a few, Johns Hopkins University's other organizations, but basically the New World Order, the entire New World Order government let this virus in. And of course, they're all a bunch of communists at heart, just like the Chinese. The Chinese booted up this virus, and the Western governments let it in. They made sure that you wouldn't have enough masks or the proper information to protect yourselves. And if you happen to land in the hospital, you know, they're going to kill you. That's basically the system at large. And you can't understand why this system is operating the way it is unless you've really woken up to what's going on out there. It's the pages of the Bible playing out before your very eyes. They're trying to chip you with the mark of the beast, quite literally. They've already put the mark of the beast on everything that you buy. Again, it's 24/7 Luciferian.
You know, as a police officer,
it's 24/7 Luciferian propaganda on the television. Why? Because it's literally the devil and its army of demons that are in control. And these demons, they need to body snatch people in order to be able to physically interact with the world. And that's what they do. They hunt for people that have no spiritual shields, essentially. And this is, you know, the hidden side of the war. But they're body snatching people. The reason it looks like they live... I'm
compelled to make this video.
We're all compelled to make these videos. But the reason that it looks like they live on the television is because literally these people have been body snatched by an alien race of demons that are out to destroy the world. And they're nearly there. Their objective is almost complete, ladies and gentlemen. And this is the time that people need to stand up against this occupying force. We are still many and they are few. But if we only show up at 100 at a time, it makes it too easy for them. We got to show up, 10,000 people at a time, 100,000 people at a time. If the entire city becomes the militia, if the entire state becomes the militia, they cannot stop you. If it's just 100 people that shows up, chances are, yes, they will lock you down. And so, you got to think about this strategically. If you're going to win here, you have to put, all of your forces onto the battlefield. And you have to overwhelm the enemy. And the only way you can win a war is through annihilation. Every other war doesn't work. I mean, we've seen that in all of our wars since World War II. World War II was a war of annihilation, and there was a victor. All of the other wars since then, it was like half-ass at best, and we never won. You can only win a war when you annihilate the enemy, when you annihilate their weapons, their death towers, their vaccines, their fluoride, their GMOs, their pesticides. It's only when you annihilate the command and control that things begin to fall apart. Right now, their command and control is protected by the illusion of official government. But there's nothing official about this government. The elections are rigged, ladies and gentlemen. You don't have any say in who these people are that show up on the television. They just show up and you're like forced to pick one. That's the scam. And that means that it's a fraud. These people are not truly elected. They've been, scammed. They've scammed their way into office.
In the midst of a lockdown, tensions rise.
Indeed, tensions rise. All over the country, we're getting reports of tensions rising, ladies and gentlemen. And people are trying to break free and survive before the second wave rolls around, before they actually lock you down permanently and start going door to door with their toxic vaccines. And Jonestown, everybody, you must resist, you must push back, you must fight for your freedom and for your survival and for future generations. This is no joke. This is not a drill. This is actually happening. And it's only going to get worse unless you make it better, ladies and gentlemen. You are the cure. All you have to do is show up on July 4th. Show up at your Capitol building. Show up at Washington, D.C., at the Congress building, at the White House, at the Supreme Court. Take back these branches of government that have been hijacked by the devil and its minions. This is no joke, ladies and gentlemen. This is truly happening right now as we speak. The revolution has begun, and people are fighting back. And you'll see it for yourself. You'll see them start going door to door with goon squads hauling people off, and you'll be asking yourself, what do you do? And this is where the Second Amendment comes in. You are the final check and balance to democracy. After they take your free speech, all that's left is your guns. And they've already started silencing people, hauling people off, killing people, gassing people. They've turned the cities into a concentration camp. What are you waiting for, ladies and gentlemen? When we are many, they are few. And numbers make all the difference. When you've got a mob of 1,000 people coming down on you, it doesn't matter if you have batons or pepper spray or even guns. It's not going to end well for the terrorists, for the tyrants, and the like. And people that are wearing the uniform, they should literally help out the citizens as much as they can. The government is not your friend. The people in their imperial palaces are not your friends. They're infecting everyone. They've left everyone out to dry. And, there comes a time when following orders becomes a war crime. And we're getting there. And we're certainly probably there already, to be quite honest. Nuking everyone with a bioweapon is probably a war crime. Bioweapons are not allowed. And they've unleashed it on purpose. They're going to say it was an accident, because if it comes out it was on purpose, that's a war crime. And then people are going to be executed immediately. So there's no way they will ever say anything other than this was an accident. But there was nothing accidental about this release. The timing coincided with, the Wuhan military games. You had Crimson Contagion. You had Event 201. You had a couple other UN things going on at the same time. You had numerous people basically come out and say this was a live exercise, that this was artificially induced, that an outbreak was coming, says Fauci, if you remember all of that. So there's no doubt that this was orchestrated and released on purpose, which means that it's a war crime, which means that people are going to get executed. Which people are they? Listen, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to like this list. It's pretty much everybody in the White House, everybody in Congress, and everybody working for network television. All those people, they're your enemy, and they're hereby wanted on suspicion of war crimes and subject to the death penalty. Now, in the Wild West, there were posters of a certain type. People get, offended when you say things like that. But look, they're going to gas you again. And they're going to gas you again. These people have to go out to the restaurant. These people have to go out into the street. Make a citizen's arrest. And make their lives so difficult that the only way you're going to see them is through Zoom or, a webcam. They're going to be at a secret location. Right now they're thinking that they've got the whole world to themselves. Especially people like Bill Gates. Should we listen to this again, shall we?
I mean, and we're taking things that are, genetically modified organisms, and we're injecting them in little kids' arms. We just shoot them right into the vein.
So did you see how he was almost laughing and giggling? We're taking genetically modified organisms and we're injecting them into little kids' veins. Now, what does that sound like to you, ladies and gentlemen? That sounds like war. That sounds like these people are wanted for war crimes. And they're literally, suspect number one in this pandemic. But there are many co-conspirators. And they can say all they want about conspiracy theories. But if you look at what the Department of Justice likes to use most to convict people, it is conspiracy. Conspiracy to commit fraud. Conspiracy to commit murder. That's what people get convicted of the most in this country. Conspiracy. So don't let the television try to, sow the seeds of plausible deniability. A conspiracy theory is a crime. And, given the nature of this war crime, it means death. These people will lie until the very end because they know if they're busted, they're dead. And ladies and gentlemen, right now there's millions and millions and millions of people that think that these war criminals have done exactly that. And so things are bound to get ugly. And we're asking everybody in between, the White House and the citizens to do their part to take this country back. You don't want to live in their new world order. You won't survive in their new world order. They're going to kill everyone, and whoever does happen to survive, they're going to get brain chipped. They're going to get jacked into the Matrix. They're going to be robots for the AI. And, you're just going to be like an avatar locked in observation mode. It'll be like a nightmare you can't even wake up from, ladies and gentlemen. What is the video guy doing? Obviously, we're getting hacked by the Matrix.
Inslee has decided that starting next week, he is going to be doing mandatory testing. If you guys haven't seen the video that I posted on my page a little while ago of the governor himself.
Mandatory testing. And they won't even let you go to the grocery store next time. All of these people, your governors, your mayors, and the like, all of these quote-unquote elected officials that were fraudulently presented at the primaries by their fraudulent political parties that really are just, sub-companies for Lucifer Enterprises. All of these elected officials have sold you out, have betrayed you, and are trying to kill you. They are the enemy of the Republic, and they're wanted. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening to this, you are the resistance.